Hi, I'm Reese Martin, and I am the 2018 Vice Chair of the Tulsa Route 66 Commission. I'm also the Tulsa County Representative of the Oklahoma Route 66 Association and an advisor with the Route 66 Alliance. Today I'm going to talk to you about several projects we're working on to help preserve, promote, and enhance Route 66 in Tulsa. The title of this presentation, Where East Meets West, is also the name of the bronze sculpture at the Cyrus Avery Centennial Plaza. The sculpture depicts Cyrus Avery, the father of Route 66, stepping out of his Model T Ford as he encounters a horse-drawn wagon coming from the oil fields. It not only represents the progress of the automobile age, but the specific history of the city of Tulsa. In 1901, oil was struck in the town of Red Fork, southwest of Tulsa. At the time, the only ways across the Arkansas River were waiting for the ferry or dangerously fording the river. A bond issue was proposed to build a solid bridge, but it failed to pass. Three businessmen took the matter into their own hands and financed the construction of a wagon bridge personally. When it was completed in 1904, they placed a plaque on top of the bridge that said, "You said we couldn't do it, but we did." A year later, the massive Glenpool oil field was discovered, and Tulsa became the oil capital of the world. Had the bridge not been in place, it's just as likely that Sapulpa would have been Oklahoma's second largest city, and Tulsa would be the suburb. Additionally, when Route 66 was established in 1926, Cyrus Avery was able to use the 11th Street Bridge as a primary reason why the Chicago to LA highway needed to dip south through Oklahoma rather than go straight through Nebraska and central Kansas. The phrase that was on the original bridge, as well as the likeness of Cyrus Avery from the statue in the plaza, has recently been painted as a mural near the iconic Metagold sign on 11th Street. The Tulsa Route 66 Commission was created by executive order in 2016. Our mission statement is, Route 66 is a worldwide destination and is an important part of Tulsa's history. We have a great opportunity with the Route 66 Commission to help concentrate and leverage our resources to enhance the Route 66 experience in Tulsa. The Commission itself is comprised of 15 members. 5 members represent the 5 city council districts that Route 66 weaves through in the city. Other seats include members of Urban Development, the Executive Director of the Route 66 Alliance, the Director of Tulsa Route 66 Main Street, which represents Southwest Tulsa, the Director of the Kendall Whittier Main Street, which is the area around the Circle Cinema, and the Director of the Tulsa Foundation for Architecture. I myself joined as a citizen roadie representative a few months after the commission was created. My goal was to bring the overall Route 66 perspective into the conversation. By having been to places like Pontiac, Illinois, and Tucumcari, New Mexico, I could speak to what appealed to travelers and how Tulsa could differentiate itself along the Mother Road. This summer, the Commission received its first allotment of money from the Vision tax package that was passed by Tulsa voters several years ago. We have several projects that are underway that I think you'll be excited about. We are actively working with the Oklahoma Department of Transportation to replace signs that have gone missing over the years and add signage to areas that need it, such as the I44 Junction for eastbound travelers coming from Sapulpa. Last year, a traveler in a Model A Ford that was specifically traveling Route 66 merged onto the interstate at this junction and followed signs for OK 66, as there was no other 66 signage to guide him. Before he knew it, he was halfway through Tulsa and had missed our entire western and downtown districts. If we can't ensure travelers can easily stay on the historic route, it doesn't matter what else we do. Thermoplastic shields will be going on the pavement roughly every mile as an additional guide for motorists. We are working with the City Works to make sure we aren't putting these down in areas where the street is due to be torn up or restriped soon. We currently plan to have shields on the roadway near the east and west gateways this year, and will add more as other street projects are completed along 11th Street. New neon signage hasn't been an easy process in Tulsa for the last few decades. A restriction on high wattage signage came from a 1980 Citizens Committee wanting to cut down on the visual pollution of billboard and rooftop signs. A few historically significant signs were spared, such as the Cain's Ballroom and the Metagold sign, and other signs were grandfathered in. However, this meant that signage could not be removed for repairs. Any work had to be done without removing the sign, which just added to the already expensive cost. The restriction was lifted for the downtown entertainment district in 2010 and has seen great success. A new zoning overlay is nearly completed for Route 66, which will relax sign regulations in exchange for using a certain percentage of neon. It will also allow for greater leniency regarding rooftop signage and blade signs that hang over the right-of-way. Additionally, we are working to create a neon sign grant program to help businesses make their dreams a reality. The details are still being worked out, but we're looking to the Albuquerque Sign Grant Program and the Route 66 Historic Preservation Corridor Grant Programs as inspiration. On the marketing side of things, our commission members from the Tulsa Regional Chamber worked with Arizona artist Danny Martin to create a small coloring book featuring various neon signs in Tulsa and the surrounding communities. If you don't follow Danny Martin art on Instagram, you're missing out. These should be available throughout the city later this year. The traffic circle at Admiral Amingo was once home to Cyrus Avery's service station and tourist camp. Soon it will be home to a new art installation called Route 66 Rising. The sculpture will be about 70 feet wide and 30 feet high and was paid for with Vision 2025 tax money. Crews broke ground for the foundation in June, and installation is set to complete this fall. As I mentioned earlier, the northeast side of the 11th Street Bridge features the Cyrus Avery Centennial Plaza. The southwest side, however, is currently empty. Next year, though, that will be a different story. We are taking the small sliver of land next to Southwest Boulevard and turning it into a neon sign park. As you can see from this concept drawing, there's not a lot of land to work with. The small park will be directly on the south end of the bridge and will feature 3 Route 66 neon signs that have been lost to the wrecking ball, scaled down to a pedestrian signs and with some interpretive panels with them. The 3 lost neon signs that we are recreating are the Oil Capital Motel from West Tulsa, a great callback to the days when Tulsa was the oil capital of the world. Tulsa Auto Court, a fun sign that once stood on the original Admiral Boulevard alignment of Route 66 and has that great little car in the middle. And the one I'm most excited about, the Will Rogers Motor Court, which once stood proudly on East 11th Street. Although the businesses that these iconic signs once advertised are gone, having these lit up along Route 66 once again will be a great way to celebrate our history and attract travelers to the city of Tulsa. Speaking of history, we're also working on a series of historic markers along both alignments of Route 66. These signs will feature a black and white photo and interpretive text on one side, while the back includes a color photograph or a colorful text panel. The signs will be vertically oriented, taking inspiration from the many vertical motel signs that adorn highways along the country, like the Oasis Motel in Tulsa. Signs will also have map panels attached to help travelers plan their day as they cruise through Tulsa. Here's an example of what that might look like, including call-outs for side trips such as the Golden Driller. Anybody that's worked in city planning knows that maintenance is important and can be a hassle. We're happy to report that our budget has funds set aside to help keep our icons shining bright and ensure our ongoing projects remain attractive for many years to come. Preservation requires ongoing vigilance, and we're keeping our ear to the ground to see what we can do to help save historic structures that are under threat. 2 projects we're working on right now is saving the Brookshire Motel and the Rose Bowl in East Tulsa. Both of these sites are in flux regarding ownership, and we're doing what we can to make sure that there is a high degree of awareness as to what these sites can be, if properly rehabbed, and what they mean to the greater Route 66 community. That's what I have from the Tulsa Route 66 Commission. Now for a short update on what we're doing at the Route 66 Alliance. The mission statement of the Alliance is, the Alliance supports the efforts of organizations and people in each of the 8 Route 66 states to preserve historic sites, architecture, institutions, merchants, and attractions that touch the lives of millions of people from around the world who travel the length of the historic highway. The Alliance also partners with the 8 state associations to encourage tourism and economic development along the Route 66 corridor. The Route 66 Alliance was founded by Rick Freeland and Michael Wallace. The executive director of the Alliance, Ken Busby, has been heavily involved in the Arts and Humanities Council, the Gilcrease Museum, and countless other Tulsa initiatives for decades. The major project that the Alliance is working on now is the Route 66 Experience, which I'll talk about more shortly. As you may have heard, Stevens Avery, the great-grandson of Cyrus Avery, passed away this February at the age of 85. He was also the chief financial officer of the Route 66 Alliance. A few days before he passed, Stevens expressed regret that he would not live to see the experience become a reality. We are still fundraising for this attraction and are optimistic that we should be able to finish the last leg of financing before the end of the year so that construction can commence. The Route 66 Experience, conceptually seen here, is designed to act as a conduit for the road today and in the future. It's not a museum. Route 66 has plenty of great museums, from Litchfield, Illinois to Victorville, California, including 2 excellent museums in Oklahoma. The experience is designed to act as a nerve center for the Mother Road, designed to encourage people to seek it out for themselves. It will include a drive-in movie theater, 2 restaurants, a visitor information center, a retail and event space, office space, an elevated pedestrian walkway, and a 3-level underground parking lot. It will also house a national and international Hall of Fame. With a mixture of permanent displays, rotating artifact collections, temporary exhibits, and fully interactive audio-visual experiences, the Interpretive Center will be the definitive Route 66 destination for families and enthusiasts alike. This home of ultra-modern storytelling will resonate for the content that's presented and for the way it is experienced. There's also a focus to tell the story of Route 66's many attractions and personalities from throughout its history, acting as a library so that everyone gets a chance to learn about people like Gary Turner, Lucille Hammonds, and Lillian Redman. A short while ago, the Route 66 Alliance also launched a GPS walking tour with travel stories. This smartphone app provides travelers with a point-to-point audio tour around Cyrus Avery Centennial Plaza and the surrounding Riverside Historic District. All you do is load the app, put in your headphones, and take a stroll. Michael's voice comes in automatically when you approach the sites of historic significance. If you aren't in Tulsa, you can also load the app and tour the area manually. Photos are included for each stop. The Travel Stories app is available for the iPhone and Android devices. They have multiple tours available. Look for the one that says Route 66. Finally, we have many new businesses in addition to existing sites throughout Tulsa. Buck Adams Cosmic Curios on 66 is a new gift shop on 11th Street near the Medigold sign, joining other local-owned businesses like Jenkins & Company and Soul City. The Kendall Whittier district is very alive, with art walks every month and a new microbrewery. Route 66 Village in West Tulsa has recently completed construction of a replica Phillips 66 cottage station. And in August, the doors will open at the Mother Road Market, a new food concept at 11th and Lewis. Think of a mall food court without the mall, and all of the businesses inside are local-owned and full of unique offerings. It's an exciting time for Tulsa Route 66. I hope you can come visit us soon. To stay up to date, follow the Tulsa Route 66 Commission, the Route 66 Alliance, and the Oklahoma Route 66 Association on Facebook. If you have any questions about any of these projects, feel free to comment on this video or send me an email. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.